Hey everyone, Michelle Fisher here. I am a Gold Ambassador, and if you don't know, I'm from Pennsylvania, so way up north from most of you. Um, but I'm a mom of four, and I teach horseback riding lessons and do some horse training here. Unfortunately, I don't get to ride near as many horses as I'd like to lately, but that's because my kids get to ride probably when I would be riding. But anyway, Plex has totally blessed my life, and if you don't know my story, I'll share it with you some other time. But right now, I want to focus on following up because I can't even tell you how many times I talk about following up with people, and it is so, so important. And that's probably the first thing I hear from people who don't seem to be doing really successful with their business. And they'll be like, I don't want to bother so and so. You know what? Get rid of the I don't want to bother people. It's just not even worth saying because they need you and they need your help. So the first thing I want to cover is when you are making a contact with someone, what do you do? My first thing I do is I ask them for their email address. It's like the standard answer. Everybody does it, I think. We ask them for an email address. We send them an email. We ask them what they need. And then we make recommendations and suggestions based upon what they need. So beyond that, then everybody's like, well, then when do I follow up after that? My basic rule is I usually go about a week later, I'll check in. But here's the thing. After that email, I will usually tell them, I'm going to check in with you tomorrow or maybe in 2 days or whatever, depends upon my schedule. I need that time. So I will then say, hey, whatever. But I'm going to check in with you tomorrow night because that's what I do. And they may tell me they didn't read it. So then I'll just be like, hey, I'll check back in like 2 days. I'll give you some time. If you can give them a time, give them a time. Because then they might count on you actually checking up on them because they'll think you're actually like organized. Not like me, I'm not organized. But anyway, beyond that chat then, beyond that initial first follow up, maybe what do you do and how many times do you follow up? Again, I said I follow up every week from, I don't know, now and the first time for a few weeks anyway, just based upon, again, their level of interest. So what I've got here is I have 3 types of people. So the first one being my little interest people. Those people, they are kind of like, maybe. Maybe it's something I could use. Maybe I'll benefit. So maybe you want to give them some more information, and maybe they just kind of like beat around the bush, and it takes them forever to jump on something. So that's okay. Those people are okay, and we like those people. But what I do with them is I might message them privately here and there, and I will, more importantly, keep in touch with them through their posts on their Facebook wall. Simple, no big deal. The next type of person is the not at this time person. And you know what? They're probably the ones that need Plexus the most. And they'll be like, I'm not interested right now. And then I will say, well, can I check in with you in like 3 months? Do you mind if I do that? I can tell you that pretty much everyone that I've said that to has said, yeah, that's not a problem. Then the last type of person is that no person. And those no people, I like them too. I really like them all. But I like the no people because they're really fun. Because later on, then they're going to come back and say yes. So those no people, they don't always mean no. I mean, they might mean no now, but they're usually one of those not nows. And it'll eventually happen. So don't lose hope. Keep following up. And anyway, let me read here and figure out what I've got going on. So what you do in between the no and the now is what really matters. And that goes back to that whole be involved, check in on their Facebook wall, make a comment, make a like, all those really cool Facebook ins and outs if you haven't learned them. I need to collaborate a really cool list of stuff that I found helpful to me that I've shared with my team too. But so those type of 3 people, we've got the little interest people, the not at this time people, and the no people. And again, I love them all because they eventually become customers anyway. But the key here is, and if you haven't heard Melissa say it, Melissa Eichenhorst, we all know who she is. She's pretty awesome. She says, and I know she got it from somebody else who's probably pretty awesome too, but the key is that 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 follow-ups, it is truly right. You need to stick with it. Like if you do 2 and 3 and and you fall off the wagon, and then they're like, oh, this girl's not really serious. You know why? Because they're waiting for you to fail, and they're waiting to see if you stick it out. So if you don't stick it out, then why should they even bother trusting you, and why should they even bother? Because your fad, it's going to go away. And they want to, again, I say it all the time, they want to see you fail. And it sounds really bad, but I truly believe it. So here is a really cool thing that I wrote down. I took the time to go through one of my more recent customers, and I will tell you, in the last probably 2 to 3 months, I have had probably 5 to 6 people who I have talked to for over a year finally be like, I'm ready. And you know what? They still didn't order. You know what? That's not a big deal, because they're going to order in maybe 5, 6 months more. Maybe it'll take them 2 years. I don't care, because I'm going to keep following up, because they're going to come back to me. But anyway, on a positive note, an even more positive note, I have had several of those people become customers because I have maintained my whatever in their life. I'm still there. I haven't gone away. I'm not going away, and I'm only getting more excited. And I usually think I'm really lousy at these videos, but this is kind of fun. So anyway, this little list right here, I'm going to show it to you real quick, and hopefully you can kind of, if you need to pause and look over it, that's fine too. But I'm going to go back through and read it. So here's my list. This is the dates and when and who responded. So the one side, the first side is actually, I think that's me when I check in. The other side, that's my customer when she responds. So the first message I started was in February of 2015. And she basically responded and was like, I read some negative stuff, and she was really skeptical that this stuff would even work. My other messages to her were on 2/7, 2/11, and 2/15. I think we actually responded back and forth. We had a conversation that day. And the next 3, she ignored, like didn't answer me. So 3/1, actually she did respond there and said she was following her doctor's recommendations first and would get back to me if that didn't work. So 4/1, I followed up. 6/26, I followed up. 8/15, she finally responded and said, I'm still interested and I haven't forgotten about it. 8/18, I responded and said, hey, no big deal. 8/19, I sent her a sample and a catalog because she had asked for one. 8/23, I followed up and made sure she knew that I sent her the catalog. 8/24, she probably told me she got the catalog. I don't even know what she said. I didn't write it down. 8/26, I followed up. 9/11, I followed up. 10/7, I followed up. 1/7/2016, so almost a year later, I followed up again. No response since August to January. January, she's still interested, but can't afford it right now. Okay, no big deal. And that's probably what I told her too. 1/8, I think she sent me another message. 3/18, that's March. I sent her a message, and she sends me a message and asks how to order. 3/19, I respond. 3/19, she responds. 3/29, she had some unexpected costs come up, and she can't afford it. 6/5, placed an order. So a year and 4 months later, she actually ordered her products. So, just to tell you right there, that's work. It takes time. And imagine doing that with 100 people. Yeah, it takes time. But don't give up. That's my big point. And I feel like I had a really another awesome point. But I don't know. And this is getting long enough. So I'm going to turn it off. But don't stop following up. And if you have questions, I would love to answer them because I just love helping people. Have a great day.